Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to be doing a detailed review on this Mr. Coffee Cafe Barista, model number BVMC-ECMP1000. So this espresso machine made by Mr. Coffee has been out since 2012. It's a very nice machine. This is where I started my coffee journey with this about 5 years ago. It retails for around $200. Right now it's on sale for $188. I have seen it as low as $150. So first thing, this machine does not make a coffee. It makes espresso and cappuccinos and lattes. Check out my next video. I bought the newer version of the Mr. Coffee machine and I really like it. I'll be doing a comparison with it. And I also bought the Mr. Coffee burr grinder. I'm going to be grinding my own espresso, so check out that video. So for this video, you are going to need some espresso. Now, this is not ground coffee. It's espresso, it's a dark roast, and it's ground at a really fine grind. This is very important to start with. And also be prepared. You're going to be a barista, and unfortunately, you do make a mess. I've made several messes. I kind of been using this for a while. I still to this day even make a mess. So have plenty of old towels because the coffee's going to stain them. So have some of the dark or old towels. And I got a mat because the espresso is kind of a fine grind. It kind of gets everywhere. So just be prepared. You're going to make a mess. It's okay. You get some really good tasting drinks and you'll get really good at this. So the first thing you'll need, they sell this at Walmart, but this is Cafe Bastillo. This is espresso ground coffee. Now that's very important. You'll see it's at a fine grind. This is not for like a coffee maker. This is for espresso machines. It's already ground. I'll do a separate video where I get some whole bean coffee and I use a grinder to grind my own. But for this, I'm just going to be using this out of the can. I also am going to be trying this. Walmart sells this espresso ground coffee. It says it's for all coffee and espresso machines. I'm not sure about coffee machines because it is ground pretty fine. This is about $2 or $3. They also sell this in a bag. These are like sealed bags. They're a little hard to work with. But this, again, this is about $3 too. Espresso ground coffee. So you're also going to need some milk. So this has a milk frother right here, and it also steams the milk and froths it at the same time. You can use whole milk, skim milk. I like to use 2% milk. You might need some syrups. I use white chocolate. I've got some mocha. You can use Hershey syrup also. These are kind of for adding some flavor to the cappuccinos and the lattes. Okay, so I just want to explain the different grinds. So you may be tempted to buy a French roast from Starbucks. It says it's ground, but this is for a coffee maker. And same with Great Value. They got a dark French roast. But I'm going to show you those right there. See how those are really, that's a medium grind. So you will not be happy with the results if you use a coffee grind. And this is Dunkin' Donuts medium grind. That's all. So here I've got the Cafe Bastillo right here. It's ground really fine. It should be like table salt or just a little finer. And then here's the Great Value. This one's right here. So it's ground pretty fine. Not as fine as the Cafe Bastillo. But, and they're a dark roast. Now they're not as dark as the Starbucks. You do want a dark roast. Medium roast and breakfast blends just don't work very well for getting you that bold taste. So it does have to be at a fine grind. That's going to be very important. So the machine comes with a pretty decent instruction manual, and they do give you kind of a recipe for making some small drinks. Okay, so now let's take a look at the machine. Here's the milk frother. It just pulls out. Now what's nice about this is you put your milk in here, and when you're done at the end of the day, you can just put this in the refrigerator. You don't have to clean out the milk container every time you're done. So that's one of the benefits of this. Here we've got the portafilter. It comes with a double shot and a single shot filter. Now these have got little indentations, and if you just grab the portafilter, there's an indentation there and there. You kind of line those up and it pops right in. So it needs to be nice and flush. This is where we're going to put the ground espresso. It comes with a tamper and a scoop. The scoop, in my opinion, doesn't work the best. That's where the mess comes in. Most of the mess comes in when you're putting the espresso in the cup. And then you've got to tamp it. And I'm going to go over that. And then over here, that's where the hot water is going to come out under pressure. It says this machine has a 15 bar pump for the espresso side. So if we come around the side, it looks really nice. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's got a nice water reservoir. Holds a bunch of water. It is removable. It's a little awkward to hold. It's got those tracks it slides in. I typically just fill mine up with another container and pour it in. Over on the right side, you do have a switch. So that is off. On is that way. It's not lit. So it does have a drip tray, which this is going to come in really important. You do end up kind of cleaning this quite a bit. It does hold quite a bit. And then you also have, for small, you've got this other drip tray that slides out. So when you need a smaller, put a smaller cup in, you can just, that stores really nice. That's really nice. So once you got your espresso in, you're going to put this at like a 45-degree angle, and it's going to go up, and then you're going to turn and lock it. It's going to come out at a 45-degree angle. Then you're ready to do your espresso shot. And again, the milk frother, there's where it holds the milk. It's got this tube. Make sure the tube's installed correctly. It's got this metal piece. It's got an indentation right there. It slides in this track. So you slide it up, and then it kind of quarter turns and locks in place. And again, make sure when you put this in, it kind of clicks in place. So if this is your first time, I've got another video on setup. You're going to have to prime these pumps first before you put the milk in and before you do an espresso shot. There's an important step on how to prime the pumps. So check out that video on how to set it up. And one other thing I forgot to mention, so when the machine is on, this area up here does get warm. Now you can put your hand on it, but it does get warm. It's to preheat your espresso cups. That's very important because espresso cools off so quick, it'll preheat your little cups. So let's go over the control panel. So this top switch, you're going to turn the machine on. All three lights are going to flash. What that's telling you is the internal heating elements have got to heat up first. Once these turn steady, that means it's ready to do its job. But it takes about a minute for all three of these lights to go steady. But in the meantime, so we've got espresso. That's for this. If I just press this button, it's got a single shot and a double shot. And again, if I was using the single shot filter, I would just press this once and that would light up. Press it twice and it goes to the double shot. This is for a cappuccino. What's going to happen is when I press the cappuccino button, we're going to get steamed milk and froth milk out this tube. At the end of that, then it's going to do the espresso shot, depending on if I'm doing a large or a small. It'll do a double shot if I do the large. Same with the latte. The latte is going to give you a lot more steamed milk, not as much froth, and then it's going to do the espresso shot. So it's kind of an all-in-one, and that's what they kind of promote this as. So one of the areas I find to be kind of a weak point. So if you're just doing espresso, you know, the small cups fit underneath there just fine, and even if this works really well. I typically don't just do espresso. I want to do a latte or a cappuccino, which is typically a lot more milk. So putting a container underneath here that can hold the proper quantity can be kind of tricky. And I'm going to give you the measurements. So you can only get about a 4 3/4, actually about a 4 1/2, 4 3/8 container underneath here. Now, I find that to be a problem because you've got to be able to get the this wand is to direct it into your cup. Make sure this is going to be pointed directly into your cup because there's going to be a lot of steam and milk coming out of that. So I do find that this tends to be kind of the weaker point of the machine. And what I find myself doing for larger ones is you're just going to get, I got a mixing cup here which holds a lot. It doesn't look the best. So you're going to do your drink and then I have to transfer it to a nicer cup or a travel mug. A lot of times I'm transferring it to a travel mug. So I'm going to start off, I'll do an espresso first, then I'll do a cappuccino, then I'll do a latte. So let's remove the portafilter. Now, you want to start with a dry filter, so we need to dry that off. You're going to have rags. So if you ever see baristas at a coffee shop, they've got towels galore. And I find myself, you're just going to have towels because you're constantly drying things and cleaning things off. So we need to make sure this portafilter is nice and dry. I'm going to show you how to take it apart later. And again, down in here, just make sure everything's nice and dry. So I like to put the filter in. Again, that's the double shot. I typically do double shots. I don't find myself doing single shots very often. So for this demonstration, I'll be doing double shots. Okay, so this is where the messy part is. So scooping espresso out of here and put it into here. You can try that, and you're going to find it kind of gets all over. And we don't want any on this rim when we're done. Now, some people are going to laugh at me, but I've got kind of it's just something I'm trying. It's these shake bottles. I put my espresso in here because it has a pour top. I mean, it's working, and I've got two different flavors. This is the Walmart one. So this is the Walmart espresso, and this is the Cafe Bastilio. So you just open it up. And again, this is the important part. So you want to make sure this is done correctly. So you're going to create a little bit of a mound right in the middle. You know, and even this is going to make a mess too. So we got a little bit of a mound. It's okay if it's spilling onto the edge right now. But now you're going to take the tamper and you want to tamp that down. Now this is going to take some practice. And this tamper isn't the best. I mean, it's a plastic one. If you ever seen baristas, they use really, really nice ones. And it doesn't quite cover the whole thing, so you got to kind of tamp it and then tamp the other edge that's not tamped. Once you've got it tamped down, wipe off the excess on the rim. Now, pressure. I get a lot of people asking me, like, well, how much pressure? So you want to do quite a bit of pressure. You know, and I've got this on a flat surface. I'm pressing down. You know, you don't want to lightly tamp it, but you don't want to tamp it too hard. So it's just kind of a judgment call, but it does tend to be on the harder side. Okay, again, we've got all the espresso off around here. And then it should be about 1/8 of an inch down from the top. I probably should have put just a little more espresso in there, but. And now I don't claim to be an espresso expert by no means. There is so much involved in making perfect espresso shots and the perfect grind, and they weigh the espresso, and there's a lot that goes on with espresso. This machine is pretty forgiving. I do make some pretty nice cappuccinos and lattes. They're pretty sugary, you know, because I don't like the how bitter coffee tastes, especially espresso. So, but you're going to put you're going to put this in again, like I had before. Make sure this little lever is down. This should be down right there. I'll talk about that later. So you're going to put it in like at a 45-degree angle, and then it should go up. It should be nice and level, and you shouldn't have to force this. And it's a nice steady turn to where it comes out directly pointing at you. So now grab your little glass that's preheated. It's warm a little bit. This gets a little warm. I'm going to slide this tray out since I'm only doing espresso. I'm going to put the milk frother back. Okay, so since I'm only going to do an espresso, I'm going to do a double shot. I'm going to hit this button twice. You'll see this light. This light will come on. That's for a single shot, then the double shot. So there, it's going to do a double shot. It's kind of loud, but it's not too bad. So I want to get a temperature. So that espresso is about 180. It cools off so quick, about 185. So something I wanted to cover. So espresso. A single shot is 1.25 ounces. A double is 2.5 ounces. Cappuccino single 6 ounces, double is 10 ounces. Because that's got a bunch of steamed milk with it. And the lattes get really big, so be careful. You can definitely overfill your container. The single is 12 ounces and the double is 15 ounces. 15 ounces is a lot of liquid. A lot of your mugs and stuff will not hold 15 ounces. So here we have the espresso. Again, I just don't drink espresso like that. I typically add these to my drinks, my lattes, my cappuccinos, my white chocolate mochas like they make at Starbucks and stuff. So to me, this is just really, really bitter, but it's a very rich and it's good tasting when it's in a drink. It's just to sit here and drink it by itself, I just can't do it. So I'm not able to give you an accurate description on like what does this taste like, because by the time I mix it with my drinks, you know, I'm tasting a pretty sugary drink after that. I got these little cups off of Amazon. I'll put a link to them in my show description notes. Okay, so now we got to do cleanup. Be careful, this portafilter can be hot, but we're going to turn it to the left. Okay, and there's our shot. Now, it does drip. This is where the mess again comes in. And again, this can be hot, so be careful. But this little lip here is pretty neat. You lift it up. You can hold. Now you can take this over to your trash can and you can beat out the puck. So they do make these knock boxes for knocking out your espresso shots. So there's what the shot looked like, the puck. Now again, there's all kinds of sciences. People just that know exactly what those pucks should look like and everything. I don't know all that, but this thing does make some pretty good drinks for me. So now, again, this is going to be hot, but you're going to have to rotate it to kind of line up those notches I showed you earlier. Once you get it rotated, it just falls right out. Okay, so I just took this over to the sink and rinsed it out. You don't have to take this filter apart every single time. They recommend taking it apart about once a month. I find myself taking it apart a little bit more often than that if you use it a bunch. But you don't have to take it apart every time. It's got a little rubber wash in there. But you do want to make sure it's dry. So I'm going to be doing some more shots. We want this filter to be nice and dry. Okay, so let's make a cappuccino. And this time I'm going to use the Walmart. Now this one doesn't work quite as good, but I do want to just show it to you. So again, we're just going to pour it out, make a little mound. Again, even this is tricky. And you're going to make a mess. It's just, see, look at that. It's just inevitable. Okay, I made a little bit bigger mound. You're going to take your tamper. Just kind of one even pressure again, but this is not, it doesn't cover the whole thing, so you do have to kind of tamp the edges. You know, the tamper is just not big enough. So there you got it. Make sure you get it off the handle. Oh, see, then I just ruined the shot. So, not good. I gotta start over. And that's what I found with this great value is it should hold it when you tamp it, and especially when I tamp the Cafe Bastilio, it holds the puck in there better than that. That falls apart way too easy. Okay, so let's try this again. Nice and firm. I know you're not supposed to double tamp, but this tamper is just not big enough. And you want those edges to be tamped too. So again, you're just constantly getting the coffee grounds off. Now we're going to take that, put it in, turn it. I got to use a bigger cup, so I'm going to slide that over. I'll put my cup in and make sure you put this. Yeah, this is. Okay, I've got this. The frother is in there. Now let's talk about this frother. It's got latte and cappuccino. So a cappuccino is 1/3 froth, 1/3 steamed milk, and 1/3 espresso. A latte it's 1/4 espresso, 3/4 steamed milk. So it doesn't have very much froth. And the froth is kind of that foam on top. So, and you'll see it says the word froth. It's got more. So for a cappuccino, you're going to get a lot of froth. For a latte, not as much froth. And this is adjustable. Don't adjust it while it's working. It does have a clean function, which I'm going to talk about. You can rotate this all the way down to clean. That's when you want to clean the nozzle and put this in the refrigerator. So I'm going to do a cappuccino, so I want a lot of froth. So let's put it all the way to the froth. Now here again, I'm going to, if I was going to do a small cappuccino, I would press it once. Since I got my double shot in there, I'm going to do a big one. So we'll press it twice. And then you just let go. It's automatic at this point. It's going to first do the steamed milk. It's not super loud, but it gives you the impression that you're working at a coffee shop. That's kind of like, this machine can be fun. And now it's doing the espresso shot. And it's done. So there, all I had to do was that I pressed that button twice. It's all automatic after that point. Makes a really cool looking drink. Okay, so sometimes you gotta lift this up to get this out, but there's your cappuccino. Now, you can drink it just like that, or at this point you can add a little syrup. Again, if you buy this white chocolate, typically that only takes about 1 tablespoon. You can put 2 tablespoons, it ends up being pretty sugary at that point, but I wouldn't go any more than that. But you can play around with these. There's so many different, there's salted caramel, there's vanilla. You can buy Starbucks vanilla. Let's go over temperature real quick. So these drinks cool off even faster. You can pretty much, once you get your syrups in, you can pretty much start to drink these right away. So let's do, 1 tablespoon. You can mix it in. And these taste really good. This is how I started my coffee journey. I couldn't drink coffee straight, but I was drinking these drinks at Starbucks, and so I wanted to just kind of make them at home. Yeah, starting to get to be a pretty good drink. I might put another tablespoon in there of syrup. Don't forget the whipped cream. And then, you can just, what I like to do is just take a little bit more of the syrup and just kind of drizzle it on top with no matter what you're using. So, play around, have fun with this. This has been, you can make some really, really good tasting drinks. Okay, so now if we look at the milk, where the milk comes out, you got a little bit of milk on there. There is a way to, so say we could take, if we just made 1 drink, we could take this out. Well, before you take it out, we're going to clean it. But you can put this in the refrigerator just like that. But leave it installed, and we're going to shoot some steam out of that pipe. So get you a container that you're going to just wash. Put that in there. Now turn this knob all the way to clean. Now this button here has another function. So if you just press it, it'll do a latte. But if you press and hold it, it does the clean function. So I'm going to press and hold it. And now it's shooting some steam out that. And it's going to clean that nozzle. It will stop automatically. Okay. So now you can take this and put this in the refrigerator. Now it doesn't get all the milk. It cleans the inside real well, but there's still a little bit of milk on the outside that you may have to wipe off. But just push push this down, and it stores in your refrigerator just like that. That's one of the really nice features of this, is being able to store this and get this out. You're not having to disassemble and clean all that milk out every single time. That's a very nice feature. Okay, so let's see how this puck did. There's what it looks like. Again, lift this little handle. And there's what that puck looked like. So the puck actually looks pretty good. So it's doing a decent job. I think the Cafe Bastilio, the taste of the espresso is a really rich. This one's not as rich, but it does a pretty good job. Okay, so let's make a latte now. I'm gonna use the Cafe Bastilio. Again, I made a mess pouring it out, but it's got kind of a hill. That's because when you press it down, it's gonna compact it. So again, you wanna just press it down. You know, kind of a forceful press, but not over forceful. And then there's a bunch on, you want to make sure you get this excess off. And see how that puck stays together better? So then we're going to put the portafilter in again, just rotate it. Now here's where cup size is going to be important. I forget if this one holds it all or not, but this is a pretty big cup, and we're going to do a double latte. So make sure, and what I find myself to make sure, I've done this many times. So you put it in the refrigerator, you leave it on the clean. Make sure you rotate this back. So I'm doing a latte this time, so I'm going to move it over to here. We don't want as much foam. We want a lot more steamed milk than foam. So simply, I'm just going to press this button twice. This light will light up, then this one. Okay. Now it's all automatic from here. When you do a latte, you got to make sure you got plenty of milk in here because it takes a lot. Okay, so now it's going to start the espresso shot. And it makes some of the coolest looking drinks. So that's not the best cup for a latte, but it holds a lot of liquid. That's why I had to use it. And it fits underneath there. And again, at this point you can, so even though I had this on the latte, it did seem to make quite a bit of froth. I would have thought it would have made a little bit less froth, but it definitely has a lot of milk in it. Okay, so these buttons also have another, so when you're on this side, that's the automatic side. This side is the custom. So say this drink I've got down here, say you want to add a little more froth milk. You're just going to press this button and hold it. Press it and hold it until it starts. Okay, see how it started flashing and this light went out? Now it's going to do just froth milk. And then I can stop it when I get enough in there. See, I want to add some extra. Okay, so that's enough. Then just press that again. That lets me add just some froth milk. It doesn't do the automatic cappuccino where it does the froth milk and then it does another espresso shot. So the espresso has that same custom button. Now, I didn't put another shot in here. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. But if I press and hold this button, okay, it will do an espresso until I stop it. But I think it stops after about 5 ounces. But so if you wanted to add a little more espresso, you could. And again, you got to remember, so I'm in custom. I got to come up here when I've got what I want. Then I press that button one more time, and it should stop it. And there, I've got a custom espresso. Looks like I got a little bit more out of that Cafe Bastilio shot. That was that original shot that was in there. Okay, so let's talk cleanup again. Once in a while, you are going to have to take these filters apart. They're very simple. You're just going to hold this and turn this to the left. There's like an unlock light or unlock sign. This back piece comes off. Again, that's some filter material there. You want to make sure it's nice and clean. Then just poke this out. Comes up this way. Then this like gasket, you got to pull it off. And then these two halves separate. Now see, I've been using this for a while. You could get something blocking that lid, so all the espresso has to go through that little opening right there eventually. So just take this over, wash this out real well. To put it back together, you're going to put these two together. There's like a lip that comes over. And then this can be a little tricky. So this has got like a curve. It needs to go up towards the cup, up towards this part. So just put it on. It holds those two pieces together is what it does. And then it goes in the cup. And there's these little notches. Okay. And it should poke through when you get the notches. When you get the notches lined up, it'll poke through. There you go. And then this is just like a nut. You're going to put it on and just turn it quarter turn until it clicks. Now it's all back together. So another area you will have to wipe off once in a while is right there where that steam comes out. You do get some espresso up there. That is hot. I've burnt myself before. So that area is very, very hot. But you will have to get a rag up there. Just take a rag and wipe it sometimes. Now it is okay to leave the portafilter out and to do an espresso. Just do a single shot, just press it once. And you'll get some water to flow out that head. It kind of cleans it off. And again, be careful, that's really hot. And then after that, you can just kind of get a towel, just kind of clean it off. But be careful, it's hot. So the machine does turn off automatically, but it also, don't forget, it has that power switch on the right-hand side. But if you see all three of these lights go out, that means it just turned itself off automatically. I think after about 5 minutes. If the switch is still on, just hit a button and it kind of wakes it up. Otherwise, turn it off and back on. So it doesn't have a low water light, so you could run make sure you're checking the water. You don't want to run this thing dry. You can sort of see the water reservoir from the front. So this top's been on a while. Let's see how. About 120 degrees. It's definitely warmer right here than over here. Again, but I can put my hand on it. It's not going to burn me per se, but I can definitely tell it's nice and warm. So again, my next video is I'm going to grind my own espresso and kind of show you what kind of grind you need to grind. And they were selling this at Walmart. This is Mr. Coffee's burr grinder, so I'm going to use it. It's model number BVMC BMG23. And again, I'm also going to do a detailed video on this. This is the newer version. And it's kind of, it's really the same, but they improved a lot of things, but it's kind of expensive. So I'm also going to be doing a comparison with these two. Check out my other videos. I show you how to make a white chocolate mocha. I make a Starbucks salted caramel. Man, these are some really, really good drinks. I also make a pumpkin spice latte. And I also show you how to make your own pumpkin spice sauce at home, just like Starbucks, but it's quite the process to make your own homemade pumpkin spice sauce. I'll put a link to all the items I used in my show description notes. I am an Amazon affiliate. If you click on the links, I get a little bit of money from the clicks, but the products don't cost you anymore. I buy all my own products with my own money. It's a way of helping support my channel. thanks everybody for watching. If you could, please like and subscribe.